Welcome to Gentle Somatic Yoga for the full body. We're going to begin our practice today laying on our back. So you can get a pillow if you like, if that's comfortable for your head or underneath your hips. Go ahead and lay all the way down, laying flat, extending out the legs, palms facing up, and just take a moment to become comfortable here. Maybe having some props nearby, a blanket or a pillow, if you lay down and you feel like you need some support underneath your back or underneath your head. We'll begin our Gentle Somatic Yoga practice with a body scan. So go ahead and close the eyes once you become comfortable. And just become aware of your breath. Allowing maybe a few audible exhale sounds. Letting that breath travel all the way out. Notice the shape that your body takes on the floor. Noticing the rotation of your legs. Notice how your shoulders and your arms fit on the ground. Just making a note of how much space is underneath your back, your low back. Notice the energy that you've brought into this practice. And observing the presence you have with yourself in this moment. If 1 is not present at all, and 10 is very present, where are you in this moment? Returning to the breath, and we'll begin our first somatic movement flow by bending the knees and putting the feet on the ground. Crossing the right leg over the left. And then taking the left arm up, sort of like a field goal. Next, bend your knees to the right. It's almost like you're going into a spinal twist, but you're just going to the point of range of motion. So we're not going to stretch here. We'll just be here for a moment. And then go ahead and bring your knees back towards the center. And do this a few times. So as you take your legs to the right, you're going to start to feel a little bit of a stretch and a tiny bit of an opening on that side of your body. But again, we're not staying here. We don't want to go into stretch reflex. We're just wanting to take that movement, and then you might engage the core a little bit to bring those knees back. And try that 1 or 2 more times. Again, it's not about how far you're going, it's about just the quality of movement, feeling that and bringing that awareness in. The next piece of this is taking that left arm that's in a field goal, and you're going to slide that arm up above you. And it doesn't have to go far, just sliding up. Some people are going to be able to bring that arm up quite far. And other people, it's just going to be a little bit. So you want to get that quality of movement. So try that a couple times. You're going to slide your arm up. Some of you, it's going to feel good to do a reach. So if you get to the very top of that movement, you can reach out like you're trying to reach for something on the top shelf. And then slide that back down. And then you might have guessed it, we're going to get to put these 2 movements together. So you're going to take your legs and tilt them over to the right. As the left hand is going up above you, And then bring that left hand back down, and you're going to bring those legs back to the center. This somatic movement flow is called body yawn, and you can kind of see that as you're tilting your legs to the right and you're sliding your left arm up above you. It's like a yawn, like you're yawning, maybe even yawn, opening that diagonal in the body, and then coming back. And maybe on these last couple, try to integrate your breath in your own way. Maybe inhaling in the center, exhale, drop the legs. Inhale, take that arm above you. Exhale, bring that arm back. Inhale the legs back to the center. That's an example. Maybe give that a try on your own, 1 or 2 more times. Next time you're in the center, go ahead and pause, uncross the legs, recenter the hips if needed. And let's go on to the other side. Crossing that left leg over the right, bringing the left hand down by the side, and you're going to take your right arm in that field goal position. So it's the same thing on the second side. And let's just begin a few times just with the legs. So this time the legs are going to be tilting just a little bit to the left, and you'll start to feel a bit of a stretch or lengthening through that side. And just as you begin, take it slow. So think of it more of a rock than a big stretch. You're going to go to your range of motion. You're kind of stretching a little rubber band out, and then you want to give it slack again by bringing the legs back up. Maybe pause in between each one a little bit to release the legs. Maybe just 1 or 2 more times. And breathing. Experimenting now with softening the legs, pausing a moment, taking that arm, sliding it up above you. And you can reach quite far and stretch out, kind of like a yawn. And then when you're ready, put those all together. Same thing on this second side of letting those legs fall to the left. And that arm is kind of yawning up above you. And then the arm comes back and the legs come back. And you just wanted to make that movement smooth. Taking that a few more times. And in Gentle Somatic Yoga, we want to just make sure we're breathing comfortably. But if you like to try to pair this movement with some breath, start in the middle. Inhale. Exhale, lower the legs to the left. Inhale, raise your arm. Exhale, lower the arm. Inhale, bring the legs back to the middle. And then try 1 more of those. Do your last one. Go ahead and uncross the legs, and then take just a moment to re-lengthen your body and take a few cleansing breaths in and out. Noticing the energy in the body in this moment. This next somatic movement flow is called Restore the Core, and it's comprised of 4 different movements. Go ahead and bend your knees, setting up like you would for beads on a necklace or a yoga bridge pose. And then let's get this first movement clear, which is an arch and flatten. So the arch of your back is going to be a space, like you could put a little toy car underneath your back here. So slide your hands underneath, make sure there's an arch there. The flatten of your back is going to be flattening the back like you're trying to squish a piece of paper. So try that movement out a few times. So some of us will have a big range and some of us will have a small range. But make sure you got that arch and flatten down, so that's kind of a key there. Once you got that, go ahead and pause. It's a piece of the movement. Then bring your hands behind your head. Interlace your fingers. This first part of the movement is going to be arching the low back and arching the neck a little bit. And by arching the neck, it's almost like you're tilting the chin up. So you've got 2 little arches. Next part of the movement is bringing your elbows up, flattening that arch in the neck and the low back by bringing your head up with what looks like a crunching movement. A small condensing of the abdominals, and then slowly lower back down, placing your thoracic spine down, nice and slow, and then opening your elbows. This is arch and flatten. Let's do that a few more times. You're going to arch the neck and the chin is going to poke up. You're going to arch the low back, and then bring your elbow points up. Flatten that curve in your neck by bringing the chin towards the chest. Flatten the curve in the low back, and you're doing a tiny crunch just to feel the pandiculation or the squeezing here, and then slowly lower the upper spine. Doing 2 more, making that real smooth. Move with your breath, smooth that movement out for yourself. Again, we're bringing in articulation of the spine as much as we are bringing in a little bit of the core. So it's for the front and the back of the body, the whole core. And that is the first piece of this movement. The second part of this movement now is rolling to your belly. So go ahead and turn over. If being on your belly is not comfortable, you're welcome to do a second round of the arch and flatten, which we've just done. But if you are comfortable, go ahead and turn to your belly. For this, to start, your toenails are going to touch the floor, and you're going to bring your left cheek to your right hand, and you're going to be looking out to your elbow. So in this movement, you're always wanting to be looking at your elbow. Left cheek on the right hand, looking out at the right elbow. And let's try first just a gentle lift of the head and that arm. The right arm and the left arm is going to stay on the ground. So it looks like, just a little bit of a lift, looking at the elbow, and then back down. Doesn't have to be a lot. Make sure you rest in between. With this movement, you want to be super clear to try not to be lifting that left arm or shoulder, so you really want to isolate just that right side of the upper body. And then locate your left foot and start to levitate now. Your left foot off the ground, just a little bit. Your knee will come up too. So this is the second part of this movement, is the leg. And you can feel just the leg lift in a little bit. Do that 1 or 2 times. And then let's put it together so that the head and the leg are lifting at the same time. It'll be that right upper body, left low body, levitate, a little condensing or pandiculation in the low back, and then you're going to come back down. Rest completely in between. Release all of the contraction of your back body, your glutes, and do that 1 or 2 more times. I think the key to this really is that full release after a repetition, because it's going to get all of those muscles pandiculating in the back of the body, and then you're going to come down and it's going to be a complete release. Then go ahead and switch to the other side. So your right cheek is going to be on your left hand. Same thing. Maybe starting just getting a hang of the movement by lifting up that upper body first. The right shoulder, again, stay on the ground. And then try and put that together with that opposite leg. Right leg is lifting or levitating. And just taking 2 or 3 of these movements, making sure that you're completely resting between each one. So every muscle in the back body both gets a contraction and their full release. Take a moment to rest, And this next part of this movement is going to be done laying on the left side. So from your belly, turn to your left. If you've been doing the arch and flatten, you're now welcome to join us on the side body. You can pull a pillow for your head here. I like to do this, though, if possible, with just my head resting on my arm, because you're going to be taking the top arm over and reaching for your ear. You can modify if needed. Your legs are going to be bent at 90 degrees. Laying on your left side, take your right hand over your head and reach for your left ear. Then you're going to take and lift up your head, and you're going to get a little bit of side pandiculation. So the movement is going to be felt. Contraction in your side, and then lay back down and rest. The leg pairing with this movement is to keep the knees together, but then just raise that top leg so the foot is going to come facing the ceiling. It's kind of like a door handle turning. And then we'll put those two together. Raising up the side body, turning the door handle of the leg. It's kind of a funny movement, but you're focusing on condensing the side body. And then back down. So we're getting all angles of the core here in this Restore the Core. Taking this movement maybe 2 or 3 more times with your own breath. And again, going so slow and resting in between, so it's more important to get that rest than it is all those reps. Breathing to your comfort. Once you've done about 3 to 5 in that direction, we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So go ahead and flip over to the right side. I'll rest my head right on my arm, legs at 90 degrees. Then you're going to take that left arm right over the head and reach for the ear. Lifting up the head and turning the door handle of the leg. Same thing on this side, and you're getting the side body contraction. And then taking this movement just about 3 to 5 times with a nice rest in between. Just make sure you're breathing. After you've done about 3 to 5 on this side, go ahead and turn back to your back again. So we've kind of gone around the world as we're restoring the core, which makes so much sense for how our core actually is organized. So it's not just the front of our body, it's the sides, it's the back, it's the low back. And for the purpose of this video, we're just going to go back one more time to that arch and flatten, which we started with. Interlacing the fingers behind the head. Letting the neck arch a little bit, letting the low back arch, elbow points towards the ceiling, lengthen the back of the neck, flatten the back, condensing the belly, and then lowering the upper spine and taking 2 or 3 more of these arch and flatten movements. When you're complete with those movements, go ahead and turn to your side just for a breath or 2. Roll to either side. And then breathe your way into a seated position. For our last somatic movement flow, you can be seated on a bolster or on a pillow. I like to cross my legs, but this can also be done with your legs out or long. You can be sitting on your knees. This one also, if you're getting fatigued of sitting or laying down on the ground, you can do this last one in a chair. So just make sure that you're comfortable in whatever chosen seated position that you're taking now. This somatic movement flow is called Namaste flow. And we'll start by bringing the hands together at the sternum or the heart center here. Bringing the hands together, taking a breath in and out. We're going to pair our breath with our movement. In gentle somatic yoga, we don't always put the breath with our movement, but sometimes through some of our flows we do. This one starts with an in-breath here. And as you exhale, you're going to round the back and press the hands away from you. Maybe look down towards the navel, getting a pendiculation in the belly. Inhale your arms up above you. Exhale the hands down beside you. And as the hands come all the way down, take a moment to pause with your hands on your knees, palms up, breathe in and out. And let's do that a few more times. Bringing the hands together at sternum or heart center, inhale. Exhale, rounding and pushing away. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down to the side, and you can reach out your hands. You can add any little embellishments or movements here that you like, maybe resting in between each one, breathing and observing, and then doing 2 or 3 more with your own pace. Remember, keeping the eyes closed can help us deepen into the feeling of this practice. So if you got a sense of the movement, you know what it is. Go ahead and close the eyes so you're feeling the quality of movement through your body. And if you're inspired to any little movements, you're always welcome to take them. So this idea that we're always looking to move with pleasure and as much ease as we can find, it doesn't matter what it's looking like, we're going for the feeling. This Namaste flow is a wonderful way to open or close any practice, or if you just have a few minutes to do a breath and movement exercise in your day, take in this one. Also bringing awareness of that intermingling between the outer energy and the inner energy of ourself, integrating the two. Pausing a moment after your last one and just observing here the quality of your breath. Maybe closing your eyes and letting your palms be open on your knees. Softening the hands. Settling your sit bones into the ground, just being aware of the quality of your presence in this moment. If 1 was not present at all and 10 was very present, just be aware of where you are in this moment. Notice any other sensations present in your body in this moment. Notice the quality of mind. Notice the presence of your soma, of any energy that might be tingling or that has now been awakened. Spending these few final moments breathing, observing. Taking one final breath together here. Full breath out. Thank you for your practice of this full body, gentle somatic yoga. I'll see you next time.